Hello, this is a tutorial for the second Etude by Heinrich Wilhelm Ernst. This may be one of the more misunderstood etudes. I think the reason is because a lot of people are overwhelmed by the amount of chords in this piece. But if you look carefully at the directions in the very first few bars, actually, yeah, the very first few measures or bars, all the chords have a roll. They're all supposed to be rolled, so they shouldn't be all three strings at once. It should be yes, and not only that, but the notes in between the chords, as well as the chords themselves, all have a staccato mark on them. So what that leaves us with is quite a clear direction of what Ernst probably wanted us to do. Now, on top of this, to make matters more confusing, is in the first three notes, we have open string, then we have double stop, and the next normal note, the single note, has a little staccato mark, and it's also supposed to be in one book. And then it's somehow supposed to be connected, and then staccato, and then next staccato, and somehow try to make this all rhythmically correct, or somewhat. Okay, so once you get past that problem, then you have the problem of the chords. Now there are many ways to solve the problem of these first three notes. Okay, you can release to, but then you get a break, and it's not really faithful to the slur. Okay, but at slow motion, if you're not careful, you get, and then that's not really faithful to the music either. So it's very important that the right shoulder has to be really free to make this effortless, very smooth and quick transition to the second note, the doubles. So quaver, yeah. So it's something you want to work on until you really find the sound that you believe is correct. I don't think there are very many wrong ways to do it, as long as you feel it's right, and your teacher, especially if your teacher says it's correct, then it's correct. If the teacher says it's wrong, listen to your teacher. Now, next thing, we have the chord. Now, when you roll these chords, it's very important that you try to arrive on the top note exactly on the beat. So you want to start the chord ahead of the beat, just enough so that the top note arrives exactly on the beat where you want it to be. If you want the tempo to accelerando towards the top of the phrase, go for it. Just make sure that the top note of your chord lines up exactly how you feel it should. Bottom notes, you just treat them kind of like grace notes because this is rolled. Okay? However, I can't exactly truly say treat them just like a grace note, because a lot of these chords, in order to sound nice, tasteful to the ear, you have to bring out the bottom note more. In that case, it's just a matter of practicing and finding, through experimentation, which chords you want to bring out the bass in. Okay, so now this should give you a pretty good idea of directions you can take to solve the first page. Second page, measures 28 to 29. I've seen a lot of people struggle on this. Really, it's about problem solving and freedom of the left elbow, left shoulder. If you sit there and try to force your hand, I guarantee you're going to have a really tough time. If you relax everything, try to just find where the fingers should go, and let the elbow, let the hand just naturally fall into the position that is most comfortable for each chord, and then practice the transitions between every two chords. It will be much more comfortable and consistent in both intonation and delivery of the entire phrase than if you sit there and just try to pound your way through. I've seen a lot of people just be like, and just, they figure out the chords on the piano, and then they try to make it happen on the violin. that rarely ends well. Can't stress enough that you really want to spend some time to really concentrate on freeing up the entire left side to allow these things. Sorry. Yeah, and just feeling where the elbow has to go. Okay? Now, by the way, those two bars, 28, 29, I choose not to roll those because I do not believe those are meant to be rolled. There's no written indication of this, but at that point in time, they are not in the pattern that Ernst had set up in the first page. So I do not believe those are supposed to be rolled, but I could be wrong. And I'd love to hear other opinions on that. Now we move forward to rehearsal C, bar 52. This is where Ernst splits it up, and you have left hand pizzicato with the regular theme that was introduced in the very beginning. He writes, for greater facility, the pizzicati of bars 52 to 62, the top line may be played. Okay, I've done it both ways. I can't honestly say the pizzicati add that much more to the piece. It's not that much more difficult. It just takes a little bit more planning. And in some cases, I don't feel it really is that pleasing to the chord. I don't think it helps the chord of the music that much. You try it, see what you think. I mean, yes, it is cool to play left-hand pizz at the same time, pizzicato at the same time you are bowing, but honestly, there are pieces that are more well planned out than this one, as far as doing, left-hand pizzicato at the same time as you're pulling a bow. So for me personally, when I perform this, when I recorded this or whatever, I do it without the left-hand pizzicato these days. In the past, I did it with it. I can't say I'm really convinced. Other opinions, love to hear them. And if you can, show me that, yes, these really, really are necessary for the Etude to be more full sounding, next time I'll try it with, I'll perform it with again. But as for now, if I perform it nowadays, I do it without the left-hand pizzicato. Yeah, I mean, I've done it with before, but I don't see the point as of now. But I always am open to be corrected. Okay, so the rest of the piece more or less plays itself. So I hope this tutorial was helpful, and wish you guys good luck. Cheers.